Hallelujah. Shalom. Hear, O Israel. Shema Yasha'Allah. Yahweh our power. Yahweh Eloheinu. Yahweh is one. Yahweh Echad. Yabaraka come. He bless you all. Yahweh. Bashem Hamashiach Yahweh Shai. He bless you all. Yahweh. In the name of Yahweh Shai Hamashiach. So right now we're in the 5th day of the 7-day week. We're on the 23rd day of the 13th month, and we have 8 more nights until we reach the first day of the new moon, and which will be the day of New Year. In 21 more nights and 21 more afternoons, we're going to be in the Passover, day of the Passover, and in 23 more nights, we're going to be on the first day of the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Again, I'm Zaquan Shapat Parashah, Elder Judge Parashah, with Banya Yasharallah, B'nai Yisrael, and Masharah Yasharallah, the government of Israel, as the elder diplomat to the diaspora and the house of Israel. Specifically dealing with the diaspora that was conquered by the Portuguese and Spanish, and the diaspora that's spread in the Eastern Hemisphere. All right, so of course today we're in the Shamyanya. All right, we're in the 4th Aliyah of Leviticus chapter 10, verse 12 through 15. All right, now in this portion, we're dealing with certain, we see a kind of an addition to the, we see something extra added to what we've been reading about as far as the sacrifices and who can eat these sacrifices. It's only 4 verses. And since it's only 4 verses, guess what we're going to do? We're going to go into other information from other books. Because we don't want to just leave it at the 4 verses, right? We want to get more understanding. So we're going to go into this man right here. A man that's mentioned throughout Israelite history, Eleazar. We're going to go into some history about Eleazar. And after Eleazar, we're going to go into his descendant. I believe six generations after him. We're going to go into Zadok, which is Tazadak or Tzadak. All right. So my esteemed reader for the evening is Amaria Nanishaman, aka Amaria Nanishaman. Okay. All right. So chapter 10, Leviticus, Bikra Wayakwara'a, verses 12 through 15. Let's hit it.
And Moshe spoke to Aharon and his surviving sons, Eleazar and Ithamar, take the meal offering that is left over from your house fire offerings, and eat it as unleavened loaves beside the altar, for it is the holy of holies. You shall eat it in a holy place, because it is your portion, and your son's portion from your house fire offerings, which I have been commanded. The breast of the waving and the thigh of the raising up you shall eat in a clean place, you and your sons and your daughters with you. For as your portion and your son's portion they have been given from the peace offerings of the chosen Yasharallah, they shall bring the fat of the raising up and the breast of the waving upon the fats for fire offerings, to wave as a waving before Yahweh, and it shall belong to you and to your sons with you as an eternal due, as Yahweh has commanded.
As Yahweh has commanded. So now let's start right here. It says your sons that are living, your surviving sons. Okay. Okay. ويدبر Masha al-Ahran al-Aizar al-Ayatamar Banyawa Hanawathar Yam. Okay, so it doesn't say surviving sons, it just says sons. Now, why does it say just these two sons? Remember, the other two sons offered up strange fire to Yahweh. All right, they offered up strange fire to Yahweh. All right, now I want to go back there real quick, Amaria. Let's go. Let's see something. Did I use the word strange right here? They don't use the word strange right there. But they offered up fire to them and told them to bring to him. Okay. Foreign fire. Here it is right here. Anybody see that in the Hebrew? It doesn't say strange, but it says foreign. I want you to pay close attention to this word. This is zara. All right. That's literally what it says, you know, in the modern and the ancient Hebrew. It says zara. Okay. So it says right here, zara. Ash zara. I think somebody would pronounce this as Aish Zarah. Okay. But that word is the word that means strange. Now, how can the fire be strange? You talking about, you think he went and said, hey, Moab, can I borrow some of your fire? You think that's what he did? So what did he do? They offered a fire which was outside of the directions on how Yahweh said they were supposed to do stuff. That's all the strange fire was. All right, that's all the strange fire was. So now they say that, so Eleazar, now let's break this down. First, let's look at everything, okay? I'm gonna make some statements, then we're gonna go back into the scriptures, and we're gonna break down those statements. All right, now Eleazar, now this is the priest. Now we know that the highest order of the priesthood, we go into the book of Hebrews chapters 8, 9, and 10, that the Messiah, who the world called Jesus Christ, which is a black man, right? Brown skinned man, if you want to be correct, he's dark brown skin. In other words, his ancestors look same as your ancestors, got off those slave ships and landed in India, Iran, Iraq, that landed in Kuwait, that landed in Turkey, and last but not least, that landed where? In North America. 1619, Point Comfort, Virginia, 20 miles south of Jamestown in August. All right. From, what was it, the Silver Lion and the other ship, I forget the name. One was the Silver Lion and the other was some other, I forget the other name. Look it up. Look it up. All right. So Yahushua, or who the world called Christ, whose proper name is Yahushua HaMashiach, he had a Hebrew name. His mother and father were Hebrews. They weren't Gentiles. They weren't Greeks. They weren't English. So they didn't have English names. So anyway, he is from the order of Melchizedek. That's his priesthood. And we only have two people recorded in that priesthood in the Bible. The actual man named Melchizedek, whom Abraham encountered and paid tithes to him. Then we have Yahushua HaMashiach, who also called to be, says that the priest after the order of Melchizedek. Now, Eleazar, so get a basic understanding of the times we live in now. These people, Eleazar, Aaron, Moses, what you have to understand is that the primary beginning history of the children of Israel coming out of Egypt was dominated politically and religiously by people that we will call now Haitians. All right? I'm talking about your Jean-Jacques Dessalines. I'm talking about your Toussaint Louverture. All right? I'm talking about your Papa Doc and Baby Doc. All right? I'm talking about the people that are now living your Wyclef from Fuji's. I'm talking about your Pras from Fuji's. I'm talking about Kodak Black. Yes, Kodak Black is from the same tribe as Moses, because Kodak Black is Haitian, and the Haitians are the tribe of Levi. All right? So they took all that power and that spiritual inclination that they had, and they started to use it to deal with a lot of the religions that they encountered in West Africa that were transplanted actually when the predecessors of the Yoruba people migrated from Egypt into West Africa. So it's the same ancient religions that they used to practice, that when you go down into Dahomey, which is Benin today, all right, when you go into Nigeria, when they talk about Oshun and the Orishas of West Africa, those are nothing but ancient deities that the Hamites and the other nations worship. We didn't worship those deities. We worship the God of all creation, and we didn't subcategorize him by different names. His name is Yahweh, and Yahweh means what? Means he is. Yahweh means he is. So now Moses is talking to Eleazar, which is the priest after the order of Aharon, what they call the Aaronic priesthood, which again, these are not white, pale-skinned Europeans from Poland, Warsaw, okay, or from Serbia, or from Germany, or from Russia. These are people that are from Israel, but the ancient Israelites, same as the other people in that area, which were brown. The white-skinned people or lighter-skinned people with less pigmentation, actually, let's be honest about it, almost zero pigmentation in their skin, they came into that area much later. They were there. They started out with the children of Esau, Edom. Then they left there and they went into Petra, which is called Petra. In the Bible, it's called Mount Seir, E-I-R. And then they went into, some of them went into the Caucasus Mountains. Some of them went across the waters into Greece. All right. They either went across the water or they, walked from across Istanbul and then went into Greece and then went along that little coastline right there. Right. It's not very hard. It's not hard to walk that. All right. It's not hard to walk that. So everybody we're dealing with brown skinned people. That's the point I want to make. So now Eleazar is very essential when looking at the history of the priesthood of the children of Israel. And we're going to get back to that in a minute, okay? We're going to get back to that in a minute. But for now, let's go down a little bit. Now, notice that it says that here is the altar, and they did the wave offering. Now, the wave offerings, the priest would take the offering and put it into your hands. And then you, with the priest's hands up under yours, all right, the priest would put the offering in your two hands. And then the priest would raise the offering. You would raise the offering up over the altar. Okay? Everybody see that? And then you would lower it. And the priest would remove his hands. And then you would give that same offering to the priest. And this is what we just read about. That's why it says right here, you shall eat it in a holy place, because it is your portion and your son's portion from Yahweh. Now, of course, his sons also would be what? Priests. So the priest And the sons of the priest were given the altar. Now, notice it does not mention anything about if they're married, if they're virgins, if they're divorced. It makes no mention at all. It just says your son, and it has to be eaten in a holy place, meaning a place that's set apart, a place that's become defiled, and a place that always remains clean before Yahweh. That means no man is allowed to go into place, all right, after he's laid with his woman, unless he's bathed, and then the sun has set. Then he can go into this holy place. That means that anybody has a running issue, something when fluid is constantly leaving your body, whether it's from having diabetes or having an injury, or whether it's from a natural menstruation process, which is nothing but purging out blood that was supposed to be used for the woman to start to nourish that life that was growing in her body. So when she doesn't get pregnant, that blood just leaves out. Okay. So it doesn't mention any of that. For the man, it just says that to be in a holy place, which automatically tells us that this place has to be free of all those types of conditions that I just named. Okay. Now the breast of the wave offering and the thighs, right, which is like the shoulder, the front of it has a lot of fat. If you've ever eaten any type of shoulder from the lamb, it has a lot of fat around it, but it's very good meat. Very good meat. All right. Now, let's read it again. The meal offering, which is the grain. Okay. The meal offering, which is the grain, you took a little bit of it, bam, and then you put the rest in the fire. To put that in the fire, took a little bit and put it in the fire. Now, this is what it's telling that you can eat. And the priests and the sons can eat, but it has to be eaten in a holy place. Okay. So makwam kwadwash, to a place that's holy, and his sons eat that. Now, let's go back to the meat now. Verse 14. The breast. It tells that the breast of waving and the thigh, all right? Let's sit her up. So the breast of the waving and the thigh, what does it say? You can eat that in a clean place. What does that mean? Now, there's a difference between clean and holy. Holy means totally set apart. Totally set apart. Nothing unclean can come in there. Even if something is clean, it still can't go into a holy place. Only certain things at certain times can come into a holy place. Okay? Everybody got that? So now clean just means it's when you look at this, it's gonna say tama'ah. I'm sorry, it's gonna say tahawar. It says ba, okay, makawan tahar. All right. And it actually says like tahur, but tahawar. All right. So it can't, anything that's clean, any place that's clean, it can be eaten. Clean place could be, okay, you may have, your house. Okay. When your house can be clean. Okay. That means that nobody has entered in any type of condition where their body or nothing inside the house is unclean. Okay. So we have laws about tahar and not tahar. Okay. Now it says you and your sons and your daughters with you. All right. They can eat that. All right. They can eat that. Now, when it goes to the daughters that can eat it, not every daughter. So we see certain laws when we go further into the Torah. All right. And we see how Yahweh, the God of all gods, the God of creation, the God of what you would call the Most High God, the God of the Bible. All right. But he's the God of everything. He's not the God of the Bible. He's the God of everything, Yahweh. He's actually calls himself what? the God of the Hebrews, right? So he's the God of the Hebrews, and we are the Hebrews, so he's our God. Okay, so what Yahweh says is there's only specific daughters that I want to be able, to eat this food. Now we'll go into that real quick, okay? Let's go into that. Let's go into that real quick. Let's go into his daughters. Which daughters were there that could eat this? All right. Which daughters were there that could eat this? We're gonna go into that real quick. All right, let me just get up here. All right. And certain daughters, though, every daughter was not the same. Every daughter was not the same. Let's go into Vayikra 22. Going to Vayikra 22. And let's go into verse we'll do 10 through 13. All right. Maria, let me have your professional reading skills. Once you read like you're getting paid to do it. Go ahead, 10 through 12. Read.
No non-Kohen may eat holy things. A Kohen's resident and his hireling may not eat holy things.
So anybody that lives with him, and anybody that's not a priest, somebody that's not a priest, all right. They said Wakal Zal La'ah Ya'akal Kodash. So anybody, it says no stranger in the Hebrew. Remember, that's the same word we saw for that fire. So what does that stranger mean in this case? In this case, the stranger means what? Somebody that's not a priest. So it says Wakal Zar La'ah Ya'akal Kodash Tawashab. All right. Tawashab Kahan Wa Shakiyar La'ah Ya'akal Kodash. So somebody that lives with him, somebody that works for him, can't eat it. Let's read verse 11. Go ahead.
And if a Kohen acquires a person,
that means if he bought a person, slavery or buying somebody was no new institution for any culture on the planet Earth. Everybody exchanged people for money or for services or for goods. Why do you think at a wedding they say, what they say at the wedding when a woman's walking down the aisle? Who gives away this woman in marriage, right? So the woman was given away. She belonged to the household of her father. So it says a priest, if he acquires a person, meaning what? He may buy a person or get somebody that's what? A prisoner of war. Prisoner of war. Many Native American, many African cultures, they kept people to be a part of their society once they conquered them in war. Did you know that? You can read a book called The Interesting Narrative of Olaudah Equiano, a.k.a. Gustavo Vasa. All right? The Interesting Narrative of Olaudah Equiano. That's his name. All right? You can read the book. Okay? Olaudah Equiano. Okay, type that in, and you can find it on Google. You can find it on Google. And it's a PDF. You can get it online. Right? You can find it online. So now, in that book, he talks about how when you were taken as a prisoner of war or you were bought by Africans, because he was a Hebrew living in Africa, so he wasn't a Hamite. He was an ethnic African. So in that book, he talks about when you buy somebody, right? and you have a slave that comes into your community, that person will be working right along with you. You didn't just send them into the field and you sitting up, you know, and you sitting up on the porch drinking juniper tea or something, or sipping on lemonade and trying to run around the plantation, have sex with all your female slaves. Wasn't like that. You just lost out and you were not part of the community. You were on the losing end of a bargain. But you weren't like decapitated, castrated, beaten, and worked to death. See, those concepts of captivity and slavery, that came with the white man. And he got it from the what? When we look at the ancient Egyptians, they did that once they started to get mad at us because we started to grow in numbers and they saw us as a threat. The same way the so-called white man did murder against our people through abortion clinics, through Planned Parenthood, through the Tuskegee experiment, when they injected people with diseases. All right. The same way as Bill Gates and his foundations up under the United Nations are making women in Africa infertile by giving them drugs so that they don't have any more children, making their bodies not have babies. The same way they're pushing a homosexual agenda, trying to put two plugs together instead of putting a cord into the socket. You can't put two sockets together and have electricity. And you can't put two cords together, two prongs from two wires together to have electricity. You need the plug to go into the socket. So the man needs to go into the woman to have any electricity, any life on this planet that we live in. That's how us humans reproduce, man and woman. So the so-called Europeans, what they did, they introduced a whole new brand of slavery that was foreign to the world for the most part. They picked up a lot of tricks from the Arabs. The Arabs had a horrendous and evil heart toward our people when they put us in slavery. In Iraq, Iran, Kuwait. Of course, those names weren't around back then. They went in, different names back then. All right, Balochistan over in the Arabian Sea coast of Pakistan. All right, so just taking a side note to slavery. All right, read.
An acquisition through his money.
That means he paid to get a person. Go ahead.
He may eat of it.
That person that he buys as part of his household, he can eat of it. And what also happens to that stranger, that Gentile? You see that? That stranger or that Gentile belongs to that priest's house. Now, this proves what I said earlier. This proves what I said earlier in Leviticus chapter 10, that the stranger that is talking about who can't eat that food is not talking about a stranger of a different nation. It's talking about a stranger that is outside of the list of people that are invited to partake of this particular feast. Everybody got that, right? So that's what the word stranger means in this context of the sacrifices and who can eat them. All right, go ahead.
He may eat of it.
And
those in his house, they may eat of his food.
So those that are born in his house can eat of that food. Now we're actually going to read unto verse. I think we're actually going to read unto verse 13. So anybody that's born in here, that means if you buy a servant and that servant takes a wife, and then when that servant takes a wife, what happens? That servant has a baby. So that baby that the servant has is brought into covenant. And that baby and that man, they both are circumcised. The baby is circumcised because the Most High told Abraham what? Any man that you buy with money that belongs to your household has to be what? Circumcised on the 8th day. Right? Circumcised on the 8th day, which is Yom Shemishi. Yawam Sham Yam Ya. All right. So he has to be circumcised on the 8th day. You follow? Everybody following? So they got to be circumcised on the 8th day when they belong to your house. And now those people can eat of the food. Because you didn't bring the food into your house and say, you can't have them. This is all mine, 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 yum, 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 eat them up, greedy, greedy. You shared. Even if this person was a Gentile or a servant in your household, you still were able to share with that person. The person was still able to eat that food. Now, so that's when it says it can be eaten in a clean place. So the house has to be clean. But certain sacrifices only the priest could eat. Certain sacrifices the priest and his family and his household. All right. So this says what? It says born in his mouth, right? It says wa yalad bayathwa, birth in his house. Does that mean that if the baby was not born in his house, that baby could not eat? No, the house was symbolic. The house means in other words, everybody that is a part of your household belongs to your house. Okay, go ahead.
And those in his house, they may eat of his food.
Mm-hmm.
And if a Kohen's daughter is married to a non-Kohen.
Now this says once again, this says married to a Zar. Okay. It says La Ayas Zar, to a man who is a Zar, which is what? A stranger. The stranger meaning what? The stranger meaning a person that is not a Levitical priest. Because under what circumstance would you have the daughter of a priest marrying a white man or a Hamite or an Ishmaelite? You wouldn't have those types of conditions. So when it says stranger here, once again, it's talking about in the context of the priesthood, a person that's not a Kahan. And that's why they translate this as Kahan as opposed to Zar. All right, read.
She may no longer eat of the separated holy things.
So now when she marries and says, I'm going to go out and marry this man that's not a priest, he's a Levite, let's say, but he's not a priest. So I'm going to marry him. That daughter can no longer eat of those things. But if she marries a man that's a priest, she belongs to the household of a priest, right? Which means that she can still eat these holy things. Which means that if she goes to her father's house and her father is a priest, she can still eat of those things that belong to the priest, those things that belong to the priest, which is this food we're talking about, this lamb and this mutton. So they can still eat these things. So this woman, once she marries a man that's not a priest, she sells herself out and says, I can't eat of these things anymore, which maybe it was a sacrifice for her. Maybe it wasn't. Okay. So keep going.
But if the Kohen's daughter becomes widowed or divorced.
So whoever she marries, if she becomes widowed, would mean what? Her husband dies. Okay. Her husband dies. Okay. Or she gets divorced. All right. Go ahead.
And she has no offspring.
So she has no seed. She doesn't bring forth a seed for her husband. She's divorced for whatever reason, or her husband passes away. Go ahead.
She may return to her father's house as in her youth.
She may return. So now she can go back to her father's house. It says Ka na'iwadiyaha. Okay. And it's actually, there was key. All right. Right, so in, as in her youth, because na'ir, remember this word na'ir, na'iwa yaha, in her youth, when she was young, a young lady, a young woman. She was a little girl. This teaches us, different social commentaries. Okay. Number one, it shows us that after a certain age period, all right, that the woman was expected not to be in her father's house no more. She was expected to be married. We see that by the fact that it says that she can return to her father's house as in her youth, which means outside of these youthful years, she was expected not to be in her father's house, but she was expected to be married. Now, that's just a social commentary. You know what I'm saying? That we can figure out because of how it's what it said. Like somebody says to you, why you always up under your mother like you a little baby? Now, we know from that once you reach a certain age, you're not expected to be all up under your mother, grabbing her and pulling her skirt, pulling her dress, or pulling her tunic and asking her for this and that and just sitting where she sits and following her around. All right? Like you might be ready to go to bed and the woman may be nursing a baby. When the mother gets up to go to another room, that nursing baby is going to get up to follow the mother also. Right? But not no big 13, 12, 11-year-old. Oh, mommy left. Let me go. But look, 2-year-old, 3-year-old, 1-year-old that's nursing, they're going to get up too. So even though, it doesn't say, the woman would leave her father's house, it's making that comparison saying what? She can return to her father's house just like she was when she was young. Provided she hasn't had a child. Okay. Read.
And eat of her father's food.
Mm-hmm.
But no non-Kohen may eat of it.
No non-Kohen meaning what? It says zar, which means a stranger, which is not a priest. That's why they translate that no non-Kohen. All right. Which means that, somebody that's not a priest, which means even the other Levites, right? So here we see now that a divorced Levite woman, the daughter of a priest, had more rights than the regular Levite had. She had a special gift that she could partake in, which that gift was, you can eat some of this. It was like meat was in abundance because people were always coming to bring forth their sacrifices, right? Because they would mess up. They would do different sins. So they would bring their sacrifice, or they would say, I want to bring a peace offering unto Yahweh. I want to bring a special Thanksgiving offering unto Yahweh. And then certain portions of it were put to the side. Sometimes all of them were burnt, and then sometimes were put to the side for the priest to come back and eat it and share it with his family. So that's what we see happening right here. So now when we go back to Leviticus chapter 10, now when we see at the door, when it says that his daughter can eat it, we got real specific rules about how this gets done. It wasn't just, you the priest's daughter, come on, you can eat it. So sons and daughters with you. And it shows you what? The lesson you learn from this is that you can't just read one verse and then you're going to try to build a whole doctrine over one verse that you read, because you could be going off if you don't know the rest of the Torah. So you got to examine the whole thing first before you really open your mouth and start giving people instruction on the Torah. Some people got a lot of pride and they just run their mouth about something that they know nothing about. And you're leading people in the wrong direction. So that's why I said your sons and your daughters with you. But now when we go into chapter 22 of Leviticus, it tells us like certain conditions that the daughter must meet in order to be able to eat this food. All right. That's what we want to kind of say, on that aspect. All right. Everybody with me? So when they say a clean place, remember now, that could be in his house. It could be at a feast. It could be eaten in the place just had to be clean. The place had to be clean. Okay. Now, let's go back up to Eleazar real quick, man. Now, Eleazar, see his name over here. It says Allah Azar. Okay. Actually, they send Azar. All right. So Eleazar, which means Allah means God as common noun, not a proper noun. And then Izar means help. So God's help or helped of God. Okay. So now Eleazar is a very, very, very important person. All right. I think I want to go into I think I want to go into First Chronicles real quick. I think it's I think I want to go to First Chronicles. Now this is our genealogy, where we come from. And I think in chapter 3 goes into the priest Levi. Some David and them. Sons of Judah. Sons of Reuben. We want to get to the family of Levi. Levi, okay. Here we go. Levi. We're going to Aaron. Okay, here we go. Now, and these are the sons of Aaron, Eleazar, his son. That's who we just read about. His son Eleazar in Leviticus chapter 10. We're reading about Eleazar. Phinehas, his son. Okay. Abishua. Okay. Or Abayashawai, his son. Buki, his son. Uzi, his son. Zariah, his son. Merayot, his son. Amariah, his son. Ahitub, his son. Zadok, his son. So now I'm zeroing on Zadok for a specific reason. I'm going to zero in on Zadok. Now, Zadok is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 after. Okay. 7 after Abishua. Okay. So now this is Zadok. This is Zadok. And the reason I'm going to Zadok is a twofold. First, I want to show you the notoriety of Zadok. Okay. I want to show you the biblical notoriety of Zadok, how important this man was, man. All right. Zadok is going to be in Ecclesiasticus chapter 45 in the Apocrypha. And we're going to read verse right here. Third in glory is Phinehas, the son of Eleazar. We just read about Eleazar and then his son Phinehas. Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, because he had zeal in the fear of Yahweh, and stood up with good courage of heart when the people were turned back, and made reconciliation for Israel. Now, what did he do? Who remember Phineas did? Raise your hand. When the Moabites some of the Moabite women had infiltrated the camp of the children of Israel, and they started worshiping the god of the Moabites. What did Phineas do? He took a javelin. It was like a long, flexible kind of spear. It can fly very long. Took it and it went into the stomach of a man and a woman, because they were worshiping and using their bodies to worship other gods. So they went through their gut and killed both of them. So that's why Phineas has his name in the scriptures as this notable person. One of the reasons. So they were holy priests, servants of the Most High, but they would also kill you. They also had that warrior spirit. Therefore, there was a covenant of peace made with him, that he should be the chief of the sanctuary and of his people, the Levites, and that he and his posterity should have the dignity of the priesthood forever. Now we're going to show you, according to the covenant made with Dawad, son of Jesse, of the tribe of Yahudah, Judah, which you black Americans, you are the tribe of Judah. It's your tribe. If you came to America, your ancestors came to America on cargo slave ships, you are the tribe of Judah. And some of you brothers and sisters that's on here right now in India, some of you belong to the tribe of Judah also. The ones that were brought by the British primarily. All right? So it says what? It says, and that he and his posterity, all right, should have the dignity of the priesthood forever. Covenant made with David, Jesse, the tribe of Judah, that the inheritance of the king should be to his posterity alone. So the inheritance of Aaron should also be unto his seed. His seed meaning who? The seed of Phineas. All right, which is going into Eleazar. All right. Now let's show this in the scriptures of what happened and why. First of all, Zadok, as we just saw in First Chronicles, right, chapter 6, wasn't it? That Zadok we showed was a descendant of Phineas and Eleazar. All right, we went into that right here. All right, right here. Here's that Zadok. Comes from Phineas. Zadok is from the family of Phineas. All right. All right. Cleonicus. So that's his descendant. Is Zadok. Comes from his family. All right. So Zadok is the person that inherited that priesthood. Then his son Achiamitizah inherited it after him. Now we're going to go into showing some of the characteristics that made the Most High set Phineas apart on this level. Right, so let's go into First Kings. I'll be liking about this thing. Oh, there it is. First Kings, chapter 1, verse 39. Let's show what happened with him. Okay. Let's It's First Kings. Oh, that's Chronicles. We want Malachi. Oh, yeah, it's wrong. See that? Go, 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 go. Kids in the crib got dibs on the big man. Can they come out and rock a jam? I'm his #1 fan. Yes, I am. All these kids know that I'm the man. It's Chub Rock. Treat them right. All right, 1 Kings chapter 1, verse 39. Sure, Phineas did. And Zadok, which is Tzadok, all right? In Hebrew, you got it. It's Tzadok. Tzadok, right here. And Zadok the priest took the horn of oil from the tabernacle and anointed Solomon, Shalimah, and they blew the horn, and all the people said, "Long live King Solomon." Wayamarwa kal ha'aim Yachaya Hamalak Shalimah. Yachaya. So live King Solomon. Yachaya. Yachaya Hamalak Shalimah. Live long. May he live, King Solomon. But Zadok is the one that anointed him. Now, if you remember that story, remember, David's other son had set himself up as the king, trying to say that he was the king before David died. When David was on his sick bed, he said, "I'm the king now." All right? He said, "I'm the king now." Adoniah said, "I'm the king, man." So he got forgiven for that. You know, but then again, after that, he started acting stupid, and Solomon killed him. Solomon killed him. Well, yeah, he had him killed from the horns of the altar. So it says, and Zadok, you might have just, yeah, y'all get back like y'all were. Yes. So now it says what? It says, "Long live the king." So Zadok didn't side with the son of Solomon. He said, "I'm gonna set myself up now, and I'm gonna be the king." Not the son of Solomon, but the son of David. So he basically did like a gentle coup against his father. So Zadok, this man we read about right here, the rest of Israel went off. Mostly everybody else is going off. Zadok remained true to David. He remained loyal to the Torah and loyal to his office and loyal to the top judge of Israel, which is Solomon. I'm sorry, which is Solomon, and more at this time, David the wise. So just because he didn't say, well, for the sake of unity, for the sake of peace, for the sake of brotherhood, I'm rolling with how all the other priests and all the other captains of the armies are rolling with. He didn't say that. He said, "Nah, I'm with David." It's like when Saul was going off. They didn't say, well, for the sake of unity. You cannot follow a wicked leader. Period.com. If your leader is off, he's off. If he's off, he's off. If he's going against the Torah, you have the obligation to check him with respect and uphold the Torah. Period.com. Hashtag done. So Adoniah, David's son, the cat went off. He started saying, "Y'all gotta look at me as the king." Read that whole story, man. Read the last part of Chronicles. Chronicles is a good book you want to read to see the history of just how scandalous Israel is. Okay, now let's get into some specifics about Zadok, and then we're gonna go into the what do you call it? And then we're gonna get into the main point. Let's go into second Kings. No, let's go into 2 Samuel chapter 19. Chapter 19, verse 11 through 15. Second Samuel chapter 19, verse 11 through 15. Oh, I'm sorry. It wasn't. I thought it was Adonai. They're saying it's Absalom. Let us read, shall we? All right, chapter 11, chapter 19 of 2 Kings, right? 2 Samuel, chapter 19, verse 11. I read.
And Absalom, whom we anointed over us, is dead in battle. Now, therefore, why do you all remain silent about returning the king?
Now. I think this is the one. I think it might be going into I think Adonai was that king I'm talking about, but this is just a prior event before that jumped off. It's another little scandal. All right. I continue reading.
And King David sent to Zadok.
He sent to Zadok, which is the same brother right here, to Zadok, which, remember, it's like the head Levite. He's like the head Levite. And he's so-called, who you would call Haitian today. So now so now David got like a schism going on. All right, go ahead, read.
And to Abiathar,
Mm-hmm.
the priest, saying, Speak to the elders of Judah.
Speaking to the elders of Yahweh, Judah, go ahead.
Saying, why should you be the last to return the king to his house?
So now, since that whole little farce, that whole little scandal is over, set me back up as the king. Read.
While the talk of all Yasharallah has come to the king to return him to his house.
So now, why are you, as my brothers of my tribe, why aren't y'all coming to me saying that I need to go back into my office? Read.
You are my brethren.
Y'all my peoples. Go ahead.
You are my own bone and flesh.
We got the same close genetic link. Read.
Why then should you be last to return the king?
You should be first to return the king, not last. Okay, read.
And to Amsa you shall say, are you not my bone and my flesh?
Ain't you my peoples? We got the same family. We the same kin. Read.
So shall Allah do to me,
and
even more, if you shall not be appointed captain of the host before me continually in Joab's stead.
So he said, no, Amasa, you going to be set up as the captain of the host. I'm Sha'ah. You're going to be set up as the captain. When it says that host right there, that's Zaba'ah, which is an army. So when you see Lord of hosts, it means actually the Lord of the armies. Zaba'ah, Lord of all the armies, Yahweh, Lord of hosts. Okay, read.
And he swayed the heart of all the men of Judah.
So all Judah was able to get persuaded. Go ahead.
As the heart of one man. And they sent to the king, return you with all your servants.
So he said, King, come on back to why? Talking about David. So he sent out this message. He sent out this message by the hand of who? By the hand of Zadok or to Zadok. And then what did he say? He sent him out as a trusted apostle. As a trusted apostle. Check it in. He sent him out as a trusted apostle to carry a message to all of the leaders of his tribe, the tribe of Judah, the tribe of David. So even though he was a Levite, his job was to be loyal to the king, loyal to the throne, loyal to the Torah. and loyal to his office, not loyal to trying to remain unified with people that are going against the Torah. And I want to make that point abundantly clear. There's different levels of unity. We can be unified and say we're trying to work things out to come together, but when you start trying to do something against the Torah, I'm not unified with you. It doesn't matter what it looks like in the public eye, man. It doesn't matter what it looks like in the public eye. Right is right and wrong is wrong. But this priest, all right, Zadok, he was looked at by David in a high regard. Because when everything was falling apart upon David, he sent him as a mediator. Basically saying, look, man, the power of the Most High, the power of the tribe of Levi, the power of the priesthood, the power of those who offer sacrifices to Yahweh on behalf of your sins is behind me. Everything we just read about in Leviticus chapter 10 is what was being done by Zadok. And he was the top of all the priests. The top priest. Okay? And now, we want to go into Ezekiel. We want to go into Ezekiel. All right. We want to go into Ezekiel. You ready, Amaria? You ready for Ezekiel? Chapter 44. Now we're going to find out about these other Levites, so-called Haitians, the priests, and what they did and why the Most High got a problem with them. All right. So this is going to be the last. This will be the last selection we read. All right. Are you ready? I said, people, are you ready? Oh Lord. People, are you ready? Oh Lord. All right. Chapter 44, verse 10 through 16. I read.
Only the Levites who distanced themselves from me, when Yahshua stayed from me, for after their idols, and they shall bear their iniquity.
So Yahshua, these Levites was doing offerings unto false gods, man. These Levites was sacrificing to false gods. Read.
And they shall be ministers in my sanctuary.
So the Most High said, I'm going to make them punished. They're going to bear their iniquity, mean they're going to be ashamed of what they did and be punished. And this is their punishment. That they're not going to be able to offer up sacrifices anymore to Yahweh. They're only going to be, they're not only, but they're going to be servants inside of the sanctuary. Read.
Over the gates of the house.
So they're going to be security. Go ahead.
They shall slaughter the burnt offerings and the sacrifices for the people. And they shall stand before them and serve them.
So they're going to serve the people as Levites. Read.
Because they serve them for their idols. And with the house of Yahshua as.
And word for the house of Yahshua. Slow down, man. You're reading too fast.
As a stumbling block of iniquity.
As a stumbling block of, they caused the people, they did things that caused the people to sin. Oh, look, the Levites are offering up sacrifices unto these false gods. So we can go ahead and work through the Levites to offer these sacrifices. It must be okay, right? And that's what's happening now in Israel. Oh, these guys are following this new moon. Oh, these guys are doing a Sabbath on this day. Oh, these guys are dressed like that. These guys are eating like that. It must be okay for us to do that now. They must be right. So instead of you taking a stand for the right thing, man, you get in line and follow everybody else. And you want to say, oh, it's for the sake of unity. No, the hell it ain't. Not following the wrong thing is not. Not holding your tongue and not speaking out against evil is not. You see, and that's the scripture right here. That's a stumbling block that you putting before your other brothers, man. You don't want to put a stumbling block. So there's many things that I'm thinking of right now of commitments and obligations of things that I said that I was going to do that now I see I can't do. If you're doing Passover on January 13th, I can't come to your Passover because people are going to look and be like, well, look, man, Parashah is keeping Passover on January. So that must be the correct date. Or look, you know, Parashah is wearing pink panties over his pants. It must be okay for everybody to do that then. Right? You see me doing it. Oh, Parashah is going to the store buying food on a Sabbath day. It must be okay to do. Right? So you got to let what people know and think and see about you be persuaded by your actions of righteousness in the eyes of the Most High. So what they know about you, what they think about you, what they see about you has to be on your end based on doing the right thing. You understand what I'm saying? So you can't be like, well, I'm going to do this. You know, I'm going to do this because, you know, I want to be united with my brothers to do something together with me. So that's what I'm going to do. You can't do that. You can't do that, man. Ain't no unity like that. Because I'm telling you, the minute you do that, man, Satan gonna throw you a curveball, and I've seen it happen before, man. I've seen it happen. You try to unify with cats, everybody get on the same page, and then bam, here come a new false doctrine, and everybody is looking at the people that's bringing it. Oh, this must be the right way to go. You know what I'm saying? You got to make a stand, man. You can't just be following the crowd. Yahushua was talking against what the Pharisees was doing. Yahushua was talking against what the Sadducees was doing. Yahushua was talking against what the evil and the disobedient people and the hypocrites of Israel was doing. Right? That's what Yahushua was doing. He didn't say, okay, well, I'm not going to rock the boat. You know, rock the boat. I ain't gonna shake the boat so somebody fall off of. I'm gonna just keep the boat still inside the water so we can go merrily, 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 merrily. Life is but a dream. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 merrily. Life is but a dream. You might as well wipe a man. You might as well wipe the man's butt that you following doing wrong. You gonna wipe his ass for him too? When you go number 2 in the bathroom, you're going to go in with the toilet. Can I wipe your butt for you? You might as well wipe his butt for him. You're going to follow somebody doing the wrong thing. It's going to be better for you to do that than following behind him doing something that you know is evil and wrong in the eyes of the Most High. So if you ain't willing to wipe nobody's tail, don't follow nobody in doing the wrong thing. I ain't talking about your little babies or your children or somebody that's, what's they call that, convalescent. Somebody that doesn't have you know, the capacity to do those type of things for themselves. You know what I'm saying? So you have to, you know, do the right thing. So now read this part. Read number 12 again. Read.
Because they served them before their idols.
Because the children of Israel were serving the children of Israel were serving other gods. And the Levites, these priests, were doing what? They were the ones offering sacrifice to the different gods. What you understand is that when you celebrating that new moon and a crescent, man, you worship another god. Flat out. That's exact. I did a video on it. Good, look on my page or look on YouTube. under Banya Yasha'Allah, and you'll see the video that I did showing you how the crescent moon was worshipped by other nations as a symbol of their God, man. And we, the children of Israel, the blacks, Hispanic, Latinos, Indians, North, Central, South America, and the Caribbean, in India, Iran, Iraq, Qatar, Dubai. Well, not really a lot in Dubai, but some in Dubai. All right, mainly like the whole like Qatar area, Kuwait, all right, Pakistan, Sri Lanka. All those are the children of Israel who made a covenant with the Most High not to worship and follow these other gods. Look at any ancient or any type of pagan religions now, man. What you see on the side of Shiva's hair? A crescent moon. What you see on the top of Islam? Crescent moon. What you see for Ishtar? A crescent moon. You see? So these symbols are still around, and it's still being used by our people. And they think that they're doing the right thing when they're actually doing the very, 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 very wrong thing. Doing the very wrong thing. All right, they're doing a very wrong thing. Okay. So what happened was Israel was being misled by their priests. The priests were a stumbling block. So this is what Yahweh said, read.
Therefore I lifted my hand upon them,
Uh-huh.
Yahweh, and they shall bear their iniquity.
They shall bear their iniquity. They won't get away for what they did. Now this is part of bearing their iniquity. Read.
And they shall not approach me to serve me.
They're not going to approach Yahweh no more. They no longer allowed to come close to the Most High. They can't come inside that little sanctuary area. All right, go ahead.
Or to approach all my hallowed things.
They can't approach his hallowed things anymore. Go ahead.
In addition to the most holy things. And they shall bear their disgrace and their abominations, which they commit.
They're no longer going to the tabernacle of Yahweh, the Mishkan or the Mashakan, where Yahweh was dwelling at. They can no longer go into the holy parts of the temple. They're on the outside. They can't go on the insides. No other family of priests, but it's going to tell you who. Go ahead.
And I will make them keepers of the watch of the house for all its service, and for all that is performed in it.
Read.
The priests,
the Kohanim. Go ahead.
The Levites,
the Lawiyam. Go ahead.
The sons of Zadok.
Okay, Banya Tzadok. The son of Zadok. The sons of Zadok. Read. Who walked away from. Who disrespected. Who disobeyed. The sons of Tzadok. The sons of Zadok. They kept the charge of what?
Of my sanctuary.
They were the only ones that were doing the right things at the sanctuary at a certain point in history. Now we know when you go into like O'Neill's time period in the temple time, second temple, they started doing the wrong stuff. But for the most part, the Most High is saying that these people are really upright before me. All right, read.
When the children of Yasha'Allah went astray from me, they shall come near me to minister to me. Right. And they shall stand before me to offer me fat and blood.
So they're going to offer the fat and the blood before Yahweh. Go ahead.
Says Adonai Yahweh.
Go ahead.
They shall enter my sanctuary.
Only the family of Zadok is going to be the priest to enter the sanctuary. Go ahead.
And they shall approach my table to minister to me. And they shall keep my charge.
So that's what people, so anyway, I'm going to get off into that in a minute. So they're going to do that to the rest of the priests. They're not going to be priests no more. All them other families, which all those other family priests not going to do the sacrifices for the Most High. They're not going to be working inside the temple like that. All right, they're not going to be working inside the temple like that, bruv. You get me, bruv. They're not going to be working inside the temple. They're going to be on the outside looking in and trying to do certain stuff. Like you said, they're going to be keepers of the watch of the house for all its services and for all that is performed in it. But Zadok is going to be the main ones. It's going to be doing these things before the Most High. That's going to be, the rest of the tribes are not going to be the priest anymore. They're not going to be the priest of Yahweh anymore. And you can go into, you can look in Ezekiel, Ezekiel chapter 48, which we can go to that real quick too. I'll read this 48 and 11. It shall be for the priests that are sanctified of the sons of Zadok, which have kept my charge, which went not astray when the children of Yasha'Allah went astray, as the Levites went astray. All right. So the Levites went astray. The children of Zadok, they didn't go astray. The rest of the priests, like Ithamar's people, they went astray. So it all goes back to the Torah portion, right? From this man right here, Eleazar. Because we ain't even see Eleazar's son, who we read about in Ecclesiasticus 45, in the Apocrypha, the book also called Sirach. We didn't even read about his son Phineas yet. That's not going to be until Numbers chapter 24, 25. 23 and 24 is when they talk about Balak and Balaam coming in, trying to make us, trying to curse us, but the Most High wouldn't let that happen. All right. So now when we're talking about Aaron, all right, we're talking about Eleazar, one of his sons. Eleazar had Phineas, and Phineas's genealogy passed all the way down to Zadok or to Zadawak. All right. So in the past two, can you let her switch up? When it passed through Zadawak, what happened was Zadawak's people, man, they just kept doing the right thing for the Most High. To where Yahweh said, man, you doing, the rest of Israel have all gone astray. They all went off, started doing the wrong thing. But you and your people, your family's genealogy, they did the right thing. So you all are going to be the ones, once we get a new kingdom, you all are going to be the ones that's going to be doing the job of the priest before me. Other people are not going to be doing the job of the priest. They're going to be the Levites. It's going to be doing certain things, but they're not going to be doing the sacrifices for me inside the whole place. All right. So in this Torah portion, you know, we see that loyalty to the Torah and loyalty to the office of the leadership and righteousness is what matters. That's what's important. Because the Most High's hand is steering. The Most High's hand is deciding who's gonna win, who's gonna lose. Not how strong the armies are, but Yahweh is the one that's gonna choose who's gonna die and who's gonna live. All right. So now we saw about the daughter. We saw about that the priest's daughter, you understand, could be a one that once she's divorced or widowed and she didn't have a baby, she was the one that could come and eat of the food once she went back into her father's house. She had a privilege that the other Levites didn't have, because she's a Levite too, remember. But she had a privilege that the other Levites did not have. And that privilege was to be able to eat of the sacrifices that were given as wave offerings to Yahweh and then to the priest. The other Levites couldn't do that. And we also learned when we went to Leviticus 22, we read also, and we learned that it was customary that after the woman reached a certain age that she was married, she was out of her father's house. Because when it said that this divorced a widow woman, it said she came back to her father's house as in her youth. And that was not Idiowath, I believe. in her youth. Okay. So she came back in her youth. All right. And then we saw that the offering was given to Yahweh from the hand of the priest, like we just read. The wave offering was given to Yahweh, and then it was brought back down and given to the priest. And once that meat was given to the priest, it could be eaten by the priest, members of the priest family. Right, members of the priest family. All right. And then there's only two sons left now, Ethamar and Eleazar. Now Eleazar, come to find out, is the ancestor of Zadok, and Zadok was loyal to the Most High, just like his father Phineas, just like his father Eleazar. So some of these characteristics and traits follow us down through the years. Right? Follow us down through the years. Okay. So now Eleazar was righteous and loyal to the Most High, and to Moses and to his father Aharon. And Zadok was righteous and loyal to the Most High, to his father Aaron and that priesthood, and to Moses, as well as to Malach Dawad. He was loyal to Malach Dawad. He was loyal to the Torah, loyal to his office, his job, his paquad, and he was loyal to the top judge of Israel, which is the king. And the King David made him a trusted apostle. Apostle means somebody that gets sent out to do something. So he got sent out to give that message to all of the elders, the Zequanium of the tribe of Judah. Look, put me back up as the king. Did it. Put him back up as the king. All right. So that's the Torah portion of this fourth day. Right. Now remember, now we're in the fifth day of the week, of the 7-day week. We're in the fifth day of the week, and we're in the 23rd day of the 13th month. 23rd day of the 13th month. We have 13. We have 13 more. We have 13 months. 13 months, and we have 8 more nights though until we reach the first day of the new year of the first month of the year, which is Abib, the month that the Passover takes place in, or the month in which Passover occurs. All right, so we got 21 more nights and 21 more afternoons until we get into Passover. And then immediately following the Passover, all right, we get into pásame el Josephus, el libro allí, el segundo, no el moreno, pero el libro azul por allá, el libro azul. And then once it ends on the 21st day, 21st night, and 22 more nights after that, that's when we go into the first day of Chag Matzawa, the first day of the feast of unleavened bread. Unleavened bread. All right, and you can read about it extra, right? Extra, read all about it. Fucker stepped up and got murdered. You can read about it in Josephus, book of Josephus. Okay, and you can read book 3 of Antiquities of the Yahwadayim, Antiquities of the Jews. Book 3, read book 3, chapter 10, which is going to be book 3 of Josephus, paragraph 237. Read that. And that goes into all the different sacrifices. All right, all the different sacrifices and the ceremonies for the festivals. And also, we read about the sacrifices. You can read about that inside of Josephus, Antiquities of the Jews, book 3. And you can start from paragraph 224. 224. All right? So you can read that. Read that. All right? So that's something that you need to check out. So you have a good history. You got a first century witness to everything that went down from Josephus, because he saw everything with his own eyes. So you ain't talking about somebody that's writing something that they done read, so-called white man wrote, or so-called African wrote, or a so-called Arab wrote. You're talking about something that a so-called Levite wrote, the tribe of Levi, a so-called Haitian. He wrote this. He wrote this, the book of Josephus, which is a history book more so. It ain't really like a Bible or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? But it gives us a lot of the history. And it shows you what somebody saw with their own eyes that was there. Now, a lot of times you might read some stuff that coincides for the majority with the Bible. And sometimes you're going to see stuff that you really can't link up to the Bible. So I may deal with him from a historical perspective, what he saw regarding the temple and the war, because he was a general in the war, right? He was a general. And then getting into not only what he saw inside the war, right, but also what he saw at the temple and the different sacrifices and the rituals placed at the temple. That's why we dealing with Josephus. Right, that's why we dealing with Josephus. So check that out. May Yahweh be with you. In the name of Yahweh Shai Hamashiach. All praise to Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. Remember this Torah portion, review it. You know, a lot of information came out. Check it out. All right, Yahweh bless you in righteousness. Shalom Lakam.